welcome to Peace in the Promise. I am Mirembe, aka Peace in the Promise, and if you've not been here before, you are most welcome. Today I just wanted to jump on and really talk about my podcast. Guys, I love it. I really love it because I love to talk, as you can probably tell if you've not already noticed when watching my videos. But I have a podcast called Peace in the Promise Pod, and if you have not heard it, if you have not looked into it, you are missing out, because honestly I share so much on there, and it's a bit, in a way, it's a bit easier to, I guess, document or record my stories via podcast, because I just feel like I can talk more to you. And the feedback that I've received from it is like phenomenal. Most people say it's like, oh, it feels like I'm just sitting with you, like in the car, or sitting with you in my house, and whilst I'm just getting on with daily tasks, like it's like we're just having a conversation. And I love that, because that's what I always have aspired for. Well, not even necessarily aspired for, but I just feel like that's how I want you to feel. I want you to feel like we're just having a conversation. And I just love that. It makes me feel really happy to hear people just listening, like, to the podcast when they're cleaning their house, or when they're driving their cars, or when they're doing whatever they're doing. Because yeah, I just know that, you know, God will use it to encourage and inspire so many people. And if you know anything about Peace in the Promise, the very genesis of it was to try and help people to feel like they're not alone in their walk. So I share so much, like, just personal experiences, testimonies, things that God puts on my heart, and just I use them to just encourage and inspire, because I think sometimes, you know, sometimes you learn through experience, and you can use those experiences to encourage others, whether to encourage them to, like, maybe avoid something that you've gone through, or avoid a certain path, or to encourage them to be able to endure and to persevere and to overcome this thing, right? So that's what I really do in my podcast, and it's a genuine joy and pleasure and privilege to be able to do that. If you don't know where it is, I've linked it below in the description box, but it is called Peace in the Promise Pod, and you will find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So search that up on any of those platforms and you should find it, and make sure you follow along. And if there's a place where you can leave reviews or comments or anything, be sure to do that so that the message can get out and more people can be encouraged. At the very least, like, share it with a friend or somebody that you know can be inspired by some of the things that I share too. So right now we're actually in season 2 of the podcast. So season 1 was more so focused on me, so it's Peace in the Promise. Those of you that don't know, my name translated into English is Peace. So yeah, literally I just share my stories and life experiences, and in season 1 I share a bit about, like, how I came to Christ, like just issues with identity and during postpartum depression, taking steps of faith, like when God told me to quit 2 jobs, and just all kinds of things, like enduring temptation, overcoming so many things, and how to remain and maintain the peace of God even through tough times. So there's all that stuff. It's literally just us having a conversation. And now season 2 of Peace in the Promise Pod is actually called Peace in the Covenant. So my husband is actually featured in this, and now we're up to episode 2, and I'm so excited. Like, it is a genuine joy to get this out, and I have such a fire in me to talk about it. And even my hubby is like, you know what, there is something about this thing, like, we need to get it out. So as much as we have, sometimes we struggle to find the time to really get to do this, between having kids and him working and me doing other stuff, but really, like, when we sit down and record, it is a genuine joy, and God really just takes over that space, and I really feel like he's going to use our story to encourage others and inspire others, because like I said before, like, he can use stories where, let's say you've gone through some things, to be able to inspire others. Sometimes we think the only stories that can encourage and inspire are the success stories, like, oh, we've never gone through anything, or nothing has ever happened, or we've always done the right things. But if you've heard just even episode 2, then you'll hear that we've not done everything perfectly, but then you can see how God can even make your, as they say, he can make a mess into a message, or he can make your stumbling blocks or things that you struggle with, and he can turn it around for his good, right? So I really want to encourage you to go and listen. If you've not listened to season 1, go and listen to season 1. I'm sure, like, if you're driving or whatever, that's what I've mainly heard people say when they drive, or when they're cleaning their house, just chuck it on and you can play it in the background and I'll be talking just like I'm talking to you now. And also, yeah, so play that and help it, play that and I hope that it can be an encouragement to you personally. And also check out season 2. So season 2 is out, but we're just doing episode by episode. Usually I will post it on Fridays. I've tried to do every Friday and I've not been successful in that. So really just keep an eye out on my Instagram because I'll let you know which Fridays that I'll post it. So yeah, on Fridays is when we post, and yeah, I'm so excited. Episode 1 of season 2 is called In the Beginning. So in that one, we pretty much summarize the genesis of us getting together. So even before we began dating, like how did things come about? How did we know each other? Did we know each other before? Did we not know each other before? Who pursued who? Who made the first move? All of that stuff, we talk about it in episode 1. And episode 2 is called Rose Tinted Spectacles. So in that one, we dived a bit into our relationship phase. So the time between us getting together and before us getting engaged. And we talk about some of the struggles that we went through, some of the hurdles that we had to endure, some of the times, let's say, when God called us to separate for a bit, and yeah, whether we waited until marriage and whether we didn't, all of that stuff, we talk about it in that. And I'm so passionate about it because I want to say, oh, people don't talk about it. People are really talking about it, so I can't even say, oh, people don't talk about it. But I think you can never talk about it enough. Like the word says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and through the word of our testimony. So we share our testimony to encourage and inspire those of you who might be struggling. And sometimes those things you can feel like, oh, I have to pretend that I'm all perfect and I've got everything together, because maybe you are a leader, maybe you are in a leadership position, maybe you are a pastor's kid, maybe you are in a position where you think, oh, I can't like be open about the struggles that I've actually gone through. But through our podcast, through us sharing our story, I really hope that, you know, you can be inspired and empowered where you are. Sometimes it takes a couple of people to just be honest and open and bold to just help others to feel that freedom and to access and tap into that freedom that God has already given. So yes, guys, totally check out my podcast, Peace in the Promise Pod. It is on Spotify, Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, and totally share it with your friends. Like, I think it is so beneficial, particularly season 2. That one is beneficial whether you are single, in a relationship, in a situationship, in an entanglement, engaged, married, whatever. It is really suitable to all persons of all walks of life. We even address things like identity and finding yourself and how to not lose yourself in a relationship, how to know who you are in Christ, separate from somebody else. All of that stuff, all of these foundational tools that we require and that are so, so helpful, especially if you're getting into that process of getting married. For young people or maybe even older people, I don't know, but I can speak from the perspective of a young person. That is all the stuff that is so helpful. I remember being in a relationship and I would soak in all this stuff. Like anyone who was talking about relationships or whatever, I was there. Like I wanted to listen to it. I was listening to all the YouTubes, I don't even think I was listening to podcasts back then, but all the people who were talking about relationships, I wanted to hear, I wanted to know more, I wanted to soak in as much information as I could. And I think, it's important. The more people that open up and speak about issues like sex and dating and relationship struggles and all this stuff that we go through, the more people that can be set free, and the more people that will feel free to open up and maybe confess or open up and talk and be genuine and sincere about their struggles, rather than us all just pretending that we're all perfect and we've had picture perfect lives, we're perfect in church, no one ever does anything wrong. You know, let's be real and I just spat, yeah. Let's be real and let's encourage each other and talk about these things that we go through, right? Because the Bible is filled with mess up people that God has still used, and he has empowered them through their weaknesses, right? So why not share the same kinds of stories, right? But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out my podcast, and you're already on my YouTube, and check out my Instagrams. I've got 2. The main one is peaceinthepromise.hq. That's where you will find everything, all kinds of updates to do with Peace in the Promise. But my podcast specific Instagram is peaceinthepromise.pod. So you'll get all updates purely specific to the podcast on that one. I think that's it. Yes, but thank you for watching. God bless. Be sure to check out all of my videos. I don't know which direction you'll have to go into, but check out my videos. You will be encouraged and inspired, and check out my blog, peaceinthepromise.com. And yeah, hopefully you can join in on the ride and subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos from me too. But yeah, so until the next video, peace.